Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa idza warisatil mutallaqatu fil maradhi fa iddatuha ba'dul ajalain. And when a woman who's divorced inherits in sickness, then her iddat is the further of the two periods, the longer of the two periods, right? So what this means here now, that a woman was given talaq by who? By her husband when in marazul maut. So he's about to die now. He knows he's going to die now. He's in that last sickness, and now he's angry with his wife, so he gives her talaq. So she will inherit as long as she was still in her iddat when he passed away, right? But what will her iddat be now? So Sheikh Tarfain says, right? Iddat will be the further of the two periods. In other words, whatever, if 3 days is longer, then 3 days. If wafat is longer, then wafat. Normally wafat will be longer. وقال أبو يوسف ثلاث حيز. Imam Abu Yusuf says 3 days. ومعنى إذا كان الطلاق باينا أو ثلاثا. And the meaning of this is when the talaq was a bain talaq or 3 talaqs, right? أما إذا كان رجعيا فعليها عدة الوفاة بالإجماع. And as of when it was a raj'i talaq, then upon her is iddat of wafat, what consensus? And iddat of wafat is 4 months, 10 days, right? لأبي يوسف رحمه الله أن النكاح قد انقطع قبل الموت بالطلاق. Imam Yusuf Rahman is dalil for what? For saying it's 3 days, right? That the nikah already cut off before maut, before death, with the talaq. وَلَزِمَتْهَا ثَلَاثُ حَيْزٍ أو حَيَزٍ. So 3 days becomes binding upon her. وَإِنَّمَا تَجِبُ عِدَّةُ الْوَفَاةِ إِذَا زَالَ النِّكَاحُ فِي الْوَفَاةِ. And iddatul wafat will only become wajib when the nikah breaks because of death, right? In illa annahu baqiya fi haqqil irthi. But then now the question comes on him that since if the nikah is broken, as you say, right? Then how can she suddenly inherit? So he says, ya illa annahu baqiya fi haqqil irthi, la fi haqqi taghayyur al-iddati, except that the nikah remains in the right of inheritance. She can still inherit. So when it comes to inheritance, you say that aspect of the nikah, we say she's still in the nikah, therefore she's allowed to inherit. La, and not in the right of the changing of the iddat. بخلاف الرجعي. Contrary to a raj'i talaq, لأن النكاح باق من كل وجه, because now the nikah is still remaining from every aspect. So therefore they all say when it comes to a raj'i talaq, it's as though she's still in the nikah, and therefore she must observe iddatul wafat. ولهما أنه لما بقي في حق الإرث يجعل باقيا في حق العدة. Tarfain says that when the nikah is still remaining in the right of inheritance, it will be made remaining in the right of iddat also ihtiyatan, out of precaution, for yujma'u bainahuma. So it will be gathered between them two. In other words, between the two iddats. You understand? It will be gathered between the two iddats. So you look at whichever is the longer of the two iddats, right? وَلَوْ قُتِلَ عَلَى رِدَّتِهِ حَتَّى وَرِثَتْهُ إِمْرَأَتُهُ فَعِدَّتُهَا عَلَى هَذَا الْإِخْتِلَافِ. Then if while she was a murtad, he was killed upon his irtidad, right? So much so that his wife inherited from him. Why she inherited from him? Because when he became a murtadda, right, then the nikah broke, right? So she's still in iddat. So therefore she inherited from him, right? So then her iddat will be upon the same ikhtilaf now. The same ikhtilaf above, right? وَقِيلَ إِدَّتُهَا بِالْحَيْزِ بِالْإِجْمَةِ. And it is also said that in this case here, her iddat will be with hayz, with consensus. Why? Because it's different from the previous. Why? لأن النكاح حينئذ معتبر باقيا إلى وقت الموت في حق الإرث. Because the nikah at that time will not be considered as continuing until the time of death in the right of inheritance. لأن المسلمة لا ترث من الكافر, because a Muslim woman cannot inherit from a kafir. Muslim woman can inherit from a kafir. So different now. What is the fatwa? The fatwa. So yes, she won't inherit his irtidad earnings, but the earnings before that she'll inherit. But nevertheless, she's in that state where she's her husband is a kafir and a Muslimah doesn't inherit from a kafir. Right. فإن أعتقت الأمة في في عدتها من طلاق رجعي انتقلت عدتها إلى عدة الحرائر. If a female slave is freed during her iddat from a raj'i talaq, then her iddat will move to the iddat of free woman. You understand? So slave girl, she was observing iddat from a talaq raj'i. How many days she supposed to observe? 2, right? And then she was freed by her master. Now her iddat will change to 3 days. You understand? لِقِيَامِ النِّكَاحِ مِنْ كُلِّ وَجْهٍ, because the nikah was still existing from every aspect. As remember, after talaq raji, the nikah is still fully intact. You understand? Right. وإن عتقت وهي مبتوتة أو متوفى عنها زوجها لم تنتقل عدتها إلى عدة الحرائر. And if she was freed while she was in a bind talaq, or her husband had passed away from her, then her iddat will not move to the iddat of free woman لزوال النكاح بالبينونة أو الموت, because the nikah is now broken because of the nikah is gone because of the bind talaq or death. وإن كانت آئسة فاعتدت بالشهور. Right. If a woman has lost hope of seeing blood, right? So she's now a Aisa, right? Then she observed iddat with months. Summa ra'ati dama. Then she saw blood. Intaqadha ma madha min iddatiha. Whatever passed from her iddat will now break. وعليها أن تستأنف العدة بالحيز. And is binding upon her now to renew the iddat with hayz, right? ومعنى إذا رأت الدم على العادة, right? And its meaning is now she sees the blood on the same habit that she used to see it. You understand it? لأن عودها يبطل الإياس هو الصحيح, because the returning of the blood will nullify that losing hope in seeing blood, right? And this is Sahih qawl. فظهر أنه لم يكن خلفا. So now it becomes apparent that the month was not a substitute for the haze, because now she got blood again. وهذا لأن الشرط الخلفية تحقق اليأس, right? And this is because the condition of the months being a substitute is the certainty of losing hope of seeking blood. And how does that happen? وذلك باستدامة العجز إلى الممات, and that is with the continuation of inability until death. You understand it? كالفدية في حق الشيخ الفاني. Just like fidya in the right of an old man who can't fast. Now you tell him what you must do, pay fidya. But the day he's got, so he paid the fidya, or he started paying fidya, and then suddenly he got strength, now he can't fast. That fidya falls away. He must fast now. You understand it? Yeah, make us of everything now. ولو حاضت حيضتين ثم أيست تعددت بالشهور تحرزا عن الجمع بين البدل والمبدل. And she observed 2 hays already now. So she's got 1 hays left now. Then suddenly she became a Aisa, where she lost hope now of seeing blood. She will now start iddat with months. She'll start fresh now. Iddat with months. To abstain from gathering between badal and mubdal. In others, you can't say, okay, 2 hays and 1 month. You can't gather between the two. You're either observing what months, or you're either observing what hays, right? والمنكوحة نكاحا فاسدا أو الموتوءة بشبهة, right? إدتها الحيز في الفرقة والموت. A woman who's been married in a fasid nikah, right? So which means they're supposed to break that nikah, wajib to break that nikah, right? Right. Or a woman who what he was made with a doubt. So her iddat will be hays, the 3 hays, right? Her iddat will be the 3 hays in separation and death. So now obviously now when wati bishubha has been made with another man, so now you're making iddat for wati bishubha for that man. For that man, right? Now that man dies, or the qazi separates between them, the iddat will still be 3 hays, right? لأنها للتعرف عن براءة الرحم, right? Because the iddat here is to get to know about the womb being free. لا لقضاء حق النكاح, and it is not for fulfilling the right of nikah. So what we understand from this here, that the iddat, why she's observing it, there is two purposes. One is to know whether the womb is free, and the other one is for the right of nikah also. There's also another purpose of iddat. It's a right of the nikah, so in other words, the right of the husband. So therefore, you a woman is the right of the husband. The woman observes iddat, and also the right for the outsiders who's looking in. They showed us two couple get together here in a room, even though the couple did nothing. They have to observe iddat because for the outsiders it was like a seclusion. You understand it? تعتد Now she starts fresh from what months. Yeah, because now she only got 2 eyes. Now suddenly she's not getting any more blood now. Yeah, you won't say that she did 2 months, only 2 eyes, so she just got 1 month left now. You don't do it because you can't gather between the two. You can't have eyes, 2 eyes in 1 month. You can have all eyes or all months, right? والحيز هو المعرف, right? So this type of iddat now is not for hakun nikah, right? Rather, it's just to get to know whether the womb is empty or not. And the haiz is the one that's going to give you this information. Wal mu'arif, which it makes you know. وإذا مات مولى أم الولد عنها أو أعتقها فعدتها ثلاث حيز. And when the master of the Walad passes away from her. So who's the Walad? The one who got a child from the master, right? Or he freed her, then her iddat is 3 haiz. Right? وقال الشافعي رحمه حيدة واحدة. Imam Shafi'i says 1 haiz. لأنها تجب بسوال ملك اليمين, because it becomes wajib with the going away of the ownership of the right hand. In other words, the going away of the ownership of slavery. فشابهت istibra'a. So it resembles istibra, where you just get an ownership of a slave girl and you must let she do 1 haiz, right? ولنا أنها وجبت بسوال الفراش. Our dalil is that the iddat became wajib with the going away of the bed. فأشبه عدة النكاح. So it resembles an iddat of nikah. You understand? So Imam Shafi'i is resembling this to the losing of ownership of Yamin, right? He's saying it's a losing of the ownership of Yamin, and we say it resembles more the losing of a spouse, right? So therefore it resembles the iddat of nikah. ثم إمامنا في عمر رضي الله عنه, then our Imam in this is that Umar رضي الله عنه فإنه قال iddat أم الولد ساس حيز, because he says the iddat of walad is 3 haiz. Right, leave it till there.